In September 2017, when Igara West MP Rafal Majezi introduced his constitution amendment bill, seeking to lift the upper and lower age limit for the president and local council leaders, there was nothing in the original bill proposing the extension of the term of political leaders, including MPs from 5 to 7 years.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion.
Even when the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee scrutinized the bill, no MP raised the matter during the committee deliberations. However, on 21st December, during the second reading of the bill, Mbarara Municipality MP Michael Tusime introduced the 7 years amendment to the Majezi bill as the whole parliament debated it. Despite resistance from some MPs that Tusime's amendment was not part of the original constitutional amendment bill and therefore violated the parliamentary rules of procedure, since it does not allow the introduction of new matters on the floor, the MPs went ahead and passed the Tusime amendment.
I entirely disagree with us making a law for the sake of benefiting ourselves. Later, there is no local council. There is no local council that has submitted to this house a memorandum saying 5 years is too few. This one is coming from a member of parliament.
I have reported on the clauses that we considered. I leave it to you that we don't have any personal interest in pursuing, but as a committee, we have reported.
Honourable members, I put the question that clause 105 be amended as proposed. Those in favour say the contrary, no. I have it.
Budadiri West MP Nathan Nandala Mafabi also introduced another amendment to the Majezi bill to reinstate the two-term presidential term limits of 5 years each. Surprisingly, the Deputy Attorney General Mwesigwa Rukutana then opposed Mafabi's amendment, but did not say anything about Tusime's amendment.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I want to say that a person shall not hold office as a president for more than 2 terms. That's why we have not had occasion to debate that motion. If we had occasion, we would demonstrate that the same reasons we have used to remove age limits are the reasons for which in 2005 we removed term limits. Secondly, that matter cannot be amended by this parliament. Order. It is a question of referendum.
However, the MPs also passed Mafabi's amendment on reinstating the term limits. Dissatisfied with the proceedings in Parliament, the then leader of opposition Winnie Kiza, Ntungamo Municipality MP Gerard Karuhanga, Erute South MP Jonathan Udul, and others moved to the Constitutional Court to challenge the amendments. Their grounds included whether Parliament had the power to vary its term from 5 to 7 years, yet they were elected for a 5-year term, and on whether MPs followed the parliamentary rules of procedure in introducing the 2 amendments in Majezi's bill on the floor.
Yes, Parliament was elected for 5 years. So how can Parliament elect itself
For an additional 2 years.
for another 5 years? For us now, we have elected ourselves for another 2 years. That the only circumstances under which the life of Parliament can be extended is when there is a state of war or a state of emergency. Otherwise, the life of Parliament cannot be extended.
What Parliament did was to look at this article of the term of Parliament being 5 years and say, for reasons we have gathered from the public and we know, the term of Parliament should not be 5 years, it should be 7 years. My Lord,
What happened is extension of existing term, and there is nothing in the sub-clause 3 that says that those 5 years can be extended, but they can be changed, but cannot be extended.
my submission is, it all depends on how one wants to perceive it. If, my lord, you want to perceive it as creation of a new term, so be it.
Indeed, in July 2018, the 5 justices of the Constitutional Court agreed with the petitioners and quashed the 7-year extension and the restoration of the presidential term limits. Now, 3 years later, the debate on the 7 years is back in the same parliament. In the majority report of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee on the Constitutional Amendment Bill tabled by Endora East MP Wilfred Niwagaba, members argued that the presidential term has to be sufficient to enable the president to implement and fulfill his or her manifesto. However, Niwagaba, who is the brain behind the private member's bill, maintains that the 7-year proposal was not part of his bill.
Extending the term of government would require a referendum. It cannot be determined here, and I will, as the mover of the bill, strongly and vehemently oppose that inclusion and smuggling of matters into my bill.
Article 105, Clause 1 of the Constitution, which provides for a 5-year term, is entrenched and can only be amended through a referendum, provided for under Article 260 of the Constitution. Herbert Zziwa, NTV at Parliament.